You need your mama spit to wipe your ass.
Now, what are your thoughts on Alabama
This
and
is
these
crazy.
anti-abortion laws that they're passing in Alabama? Well, that they've passed.
Is that healthy?
I'm really worried about it. I tell you, I've taken care of a lot of women who've had issues around childbirth. The problem with the law as it stands now, and I think the law was really only passed to generate a Supreme Court challenge, but most women don't know they're pregnant. It's 2 weeks past your last period when you have to decide by. Well,
Yeah.
I have people
That's
on the
6
show all the
weeks
time
out.
who never know they were pregnant, even when they were delivering. 50% of women don't know they're pregnant when they're pregnant.
Jesus.
So you're asking women to decide almost instantaneously if they're pregnant or not. And it's also banned in case of incest and rape. And so I don't quite get it as a doctor. And the other thing is this whole thing about heart beating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are electrical changes at 6 weeks, but the heart's not beating. If you were to say, starting from when we can hear the heart, like when the heart's really doing something, that would be different. That's not 6 weeks though.
Right.
So if you can define life by a beating heart, then make it a beating heart, not little electrical changes in a cell that no one would think about as a heart.
And what really concerns me is I feel like it's banning safe abortions because women, if they're determined to do something, it just won't be done safely. So if you're determined to get an abortion, which has happened in the past, it'll be done in a dangerous way and it could actually kill you.
It's, as a doctor, just putting my doctor hat on, it's big time concern because I went to medical school in Philadelphia and I saw women who'd had coat hanger events. I mean, they're really traumatic events that happened when they were younger, before Roe versus Wade, and many of them were harmed for life, emotionally discarding anyway.
Right.
And listen, I'm at a personal level, I wouldn't want anyone in my family to have an abortion. I told my kids this. I mean, I love the lives that they're creating so much that I personally wouldn't want it, but I don't want to interfere with everyone else's stuff because it's hard enough to get into life as it is. What I do know as a physician is if you're going to make it if the litmus test is the heart's beating, then really make it the heart beating.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make some surrogate version of it when cells are having electrical path. That's not what the average person thinks.
Right.
The average person is envisaging a little acorn heart beating in there. That's not what's
That's
going
not
on.
what it is.
At 6 weeks. And I think the rule that most Americans seem to support is if the child was viable outside the womb, then you don't want to kill that child. Mm-hmm. If the child was not going to be able to survive outside the mom, then the mom runs the show. This is a hard issue for everybody because I get it, but just being logical about it, if you think that at the moment of conception you've got a life, then why would you even wait 6 weeks? Right? Then an in vitro fertilized egg is still a life.
Then you would have to get rid of everything like Plan B.
Everything goes away. Well, Plan B would be considered criminal under some of these laws.
I mean, as a doctor, they said that they're going to lock doctors up if they perform these abortions. How did that make you feel? And would you still perform it? Because some doctors said, I'm still going to do it regardless in Alabama.
I think your primary responsibility is to your patient. And the reason they say they're going to lock doctors up is because people don't want to say they're going to lock the moms up. Because no one wants that.
Right.
But is this really one way we want to spend our time? There's so much,
Right.
so much we got
So
to
many other
fix
things
in the
we have
world.
to.
Right.
Let's worry about the kids that are here.
Exactly.
That we have to take
so
care
much
of.
we got to do already to take care of each other. To start picking fights on this, I always wonder about it. I got the same. It happens periodically. There are these moral issues that almost on purpose are inflamed, and people are different.
Like the fur ban.
Which band?
They're trying to ban the fur, and people are saying no banning of the fur from the animals.
They don't
New
want,
York.
they don't
That's
want
in
people
New
to
York.
shave their pubics.
Well, I think people create some of these battles on purpose, and I think the reason we have a federal system where you have 50 states is if you don't want to have babies in Alabama, or if you do want to rather, and want to ban abortion, then make that loud and clear. But there's going to be a big sucking sound of businesses leaving there,
Absolutely.
and that's one of the reasons that the country is the way it is. And I don't want New York sensibilities in Alabama; they don't want it either, and we certainly don't want to adopt it. People's sensibilities from South Dakota and in Los Angeles. We're supposed to be a little different from each other. That's the crazy thing about it. We're supposed to celebrate our variations, our differences. Human society got here because we're different. I mean, and I'll just give you one little idea, just moving to the medical side. There's actually a genetic predisposition to disgust. So some people are more likely to disgust than others. Now, why does that matter? What is disgust about? Disgust is you don't want to be near smells or odors, et cetera. Why? Because, things that smell bad and look bad are often infected. So some people are hardwired to look for infected things and keep them away. So they build walls to protect them. Now, what infects us besides infections, right? Well, ideas infect us. So they build ideas to keep walls rather to keep ideas out of as well because they know it can be dangerous to society. similarly, there's some people who genetically don't mind bad smells and bad odors or ideas. So they don't build any walls at all. Who's better? Well, you want both, right? You want some people saying, well, that might be bad. Let's be careful here. And other people saying, oh, come on now. We got to advance ourselves and grow. You want both sides there. And you want them talking to each other and knocking heads, but not killing each other.
Right.
Because otherwise, you're never going to have diversity in our society the way we need it. Not racial diversity, mindset diversity. That's what we need.
Do you think this abortion ban could be self-preservation for the white race? Because white people are dying more than they are giving birth, and non-white women aren't having babies. And
no, I think that's again another effort to stimulate people to fight instead of dealing with the real issue. If someone deep in their heart feels that the moment of conception is a human life, and they just can't deal with that life being harmed, they got to be heard. They can't get ignored. But that doesn't mean that's what the rule of the land is. An issue like that, it's a moral issue. I think that if people have thought about it and logically work through it, most Americans sort of already agree on what the right answer is.
I just don't understand how do you think that's a moral issue when they vote for the death penalty? Like, they literally executed a man the day after they voted for the abortion ban in Alabama.
I saw that.
Like, it's weird.
You know, the way that conservatives and liberals view the world are different, partly for genetic reasons. Liberals primarily view freedom and the right to do what's important to them as their primary drivers. Conservatives tend to use other factors in addition, like, for example, this whole issue about hygiene and cleanliness. And but by that I say specifically, you don't want people pissing in your neighborhood. That's much more important to conservatives. So which is right.
Peeing in your neighborhood?
You know how there's some people that are really worked up about the sanctity of their neighborhood. The value that they have is sanctity, not freedom, but sanctity.
Oh, got you.
Right. So which one's right? Well, you want both, but in different amounts, depending on who you are. But you can't just get rid of the other people. What they say is actually important for you to hear.
Now, everybody's trying to get their summer body.
Yes, look, we have our Drink Fresh juice here that I did, and that